people believe they know their rights. I will assure you that no one knows their rights unless they went to law school.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back. We have a video today from a channel called Giordano Bruno, and there's a couple things about this video that I like. First and foremost, we only see a couple different channels that are out there that are going to these city hall meetings and stuff like that, city council meetings, excuse me. And two of the channels that I like are Jersey Watcher and Lawrence Accountability. Shout out to those two guys. They always go out there and they ask questions and they put their public officials in check, which is legit. I love that. So this guy goes in there and he's inquiring about getting arrested for recording police, and he basically lets them know the mistakes that the police made. There's two different meetings that he goes to. The first one, he asks about his cameras, or his camera that was taken from him. And in the second meeting, he comes back and he explains that he appreciates them releasing his cameras 30 minutes after he spoke. And right there, folks, spoke volumes to me. What happens if every single one of us that are out there getting arrested unlawfully, what if we go to these meetings and we record and document what's going on in there? And even if we don't go and record, if I'm not mistaken, most of those meetings are recorded as well, so you can always request the footage from that. And what if we go in there and we inquire about what's going on, you know, our arrests and the things that are happening to us? So that's one thing that I think is important to take from this video. So without further ado, take a look at this video.
My name is Giordano Bruno, 12th century monk. He spoke truth to power. The Inquisition ripped out his tongue and burned him at the stake. So the reason why I use that name as a moniker is because you have ripped out my tongue and you have burned me at the stake. Since I have moved here a year and a half ago, I moved here to take care of my aging parents. My mother is 77 years old. She has 5th stage dementia. My father is 79 years old. He has asbestosis and emphysema. I came here to take care of them. I'm a video journalist. I go through and I audit public employees and how they value the First Amendment to the Constitution. And Yuma County sucks. You guys do not believe in the Constitution. Since I have been here, I have been thrown to the ground. I have been piled upon. I've been assaulted numerous times. I've been told that I can't record in places that I obviously can record. I've been thrown to the ground. I've been held over for 2 days without food and water. I was denied food and water for 2 days. When I was throwing up into the toilet, the police officer at the jail cell told me to drink out of the toilet. I begged the man for water. In Arizona, if you ask somebody for water and they refuse it, it's a crime. And you all have committed a crime. You've taken my cameras away on October 26th. You took 2 cameras away. You took away my intellectual property and you refused to give it back. This is the video footage of the assault that you did to me. You threw me to the ground twice, once while in cuffs, and you kneed me in the kidney. I formed an impassable kidney stone. My doctor said it was because the dehydration event, the denial of food and water, as to why I formed an impassable kidney stone. I say it was the need of the kidney. It was the injury. It was the bruised kidney. And so now here I am 8 months later, and you still have my cameras. You still have my video footage. So please return my cameras to me. You're thieves. You're nothing but a bunch of dishonest, corrupt thieves. There are only 2 types of people in the world who fear the camera. 2 types of people in the world who fear the camera. The inept, and the corrupt. And they're not mutually exclusive. You need to ask yourself which one you are. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno. Anyone else?
All right, guys, so this is going to be the second clip from Giordano Bruno's channel regarding his arrest and his video camera. Check out what he says here and let me know what you guys think in the comment section.
Yes, Giordano Bruno was a 12th century monk. He spoke truth to power. He had his tongue removed and it was burned at the stake by the Inquisition. I told you this last time we were here, and that's what you personally did to me. So today, since you guys do not believe in the First Amendment to the Constitution, I'm here to educate you on it. So I know that you are not educated on the First Amendment to the Constitution because when I go over to your place over there that says Justice Center, I go in there and I look for the Constitution. I look for the Bill of Rights, and they're nowhere to be found. So I brought a Bill of Rights for you to display in your Justice Center, and I'll read the first one to you. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of a religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. So these are what are called in the preferred position. Freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and freedom of speech are in a preferred position in the law. So you have a huge wall to overcome in order to press charges against me. And see, your county attorney over here has said that my cameras cause pain, suffering, and trauma. I'm going to repeat that for you because that's such an unbelievable statement, that your county attorneys in legal court documents have claimed that cameras cause pain, suffering, and trauma. That's a direct quote. So what we have, we're in the Ninth Circuit, and this is Arizona. In the Ninth Circuit, since 1995, we've had Fordyce versus Seattle. In 1990, Jerry Fordyce was hired by a protest group to film their protest of the G20 summit in Seattle. The police harassed him all day. They ended up arresting him because a woman went up to him and said, "You can't take my picture." And she said, "No, I can take your picture. You're in public." She went and found a police officer, and the police officer, of course, said, "No, he can record you, ma'am. It's perfect. But he can't record me in the commission of my duties." And so he arrested him, put him in jail overnight. The Court of Appeals determined that public officials can be recorded in the commission of their duties, from dog catcher to judge. So what I have here is Simon Glick. This is Glick versus Kniffy. This is in the 1st District. This is the wiretapping law. So if you tried to say my recording is a violation of the wiretapping law, it doesn't fly, because this is the federal law, this is the federal case that says that you have a right to record in public, that there is, if you want privacy, you have to create it. So what I have here is Philip Turner. This is Turner versus Driver. Turner was the Batusai. You can go on YouTube right now, and you can go to his channel. They ended up paying him $145,000 because they arrested him on the street for recording. They put him in cuffs, put him in the back of a truck, and they said he wasn't under arrest, but they ended up paying him $140,000 for the false arrest because the courts determined. And realize that this case got rid of all your qualified immunity. They said in this case that if you arrest somebody purely for the act of recording, you will lose your qualified immunity. This is Cohen versus California, 1971. Man wore a shirt to court. It said, "Fuck the draft." 1971. They arrested him for disorderly conduct. They arrested him for instigating. It went to the Supreme Court. They found that one man's profanity is another man's lyric. Why are you coming after my First Amendment free speech? You came after my cameras. I want to thank you, by the way, for getting them back. Half an hour after me speaking, they were calling me trying to give me back my cameras. This is Murdoch versus Pennsylvania. This is the ruling that established the preferred position. The Jehovah's Witnesses in Pittsburgh were going around proselytizing. They were selling their wares. They were selling the Watchtower for a nickel here, a dime there, just asking for money. The courts determined that you cannot infringe on the rights of the people. If the people, once a right is established by either constitution or law, the government has to clearly mark. There has to be signs that say no recording, and there's no signs over at your Justice Center that say no recording. So I'm also going to turn it into you here. This is the 2018 Homeland Security memo on photography inside federal buildings. It says you can film inside federal buildings. This is what you are supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do when you see a photographer. You're supposed to leave them alone unless they're doing something illegal. And now I have also for you the Arizona Rules of Court. Arizona Rules of Court say I can record with consent. Arizona is a single party consent state. I need consent from one person in order to be able to record inside the courthouse. And you know who that consent is going to be from, right? That's going to be me. I give myself consent. So I'm going to leave these here with you so you can review them, so you can know the law. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
All right, folks, like I said, I really did like this video because he goes in there and he puts it down. And I really like how he brought in the Constitution and basically letting them know that if you're not going to learn your rights, I have it here. I'm bringing it for you so that you guys can, learn and understand it and not, violate people's rights or not even allow, the cops out there to violate people's rights. In reality, I do believe that the folks in the city council chambers and these seats, they should really hold the police accountable for when they make mistakes. It's just too much of an umbrella of protection for police officers to do this kind of stuff. It makes no sense, and I think it goes against everything that this country stands for. When a police officer goes up to a man and says, "Hey," or a woman for that matter, goes up to someone and says, "Hey, you can record people in public, but you can't record me. I'm a public official." Really? How did we get this far where we're training cops to just kill and brutalize the people, but we're not teaching them anything about the people's rights? Makes absolutely no sense, folks. I think things need to really change, and that's one of the reasons why I personally set out to educate police officers out in the streets about the First Amendment. And we'll teach it to you guys right here really quick. You have a freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom to assemble, and freedom to petition your government for a redress of grievances. And those elements of the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, those documents limit the scope of authority that public officials have over you. Well, no wonder they don't want you to know it. They also mirror your natural born rights, folks. If you don't know your natural rights, it's time for you to start learning the simplicity and the basics of it, because if you don't know your rights, you don't have any rights. And before I let you guys go, I'm going to send you a clip that somebody sent me, and I think it speaks volumes. This is on mainstream media, folks, and this is how police officers and politicians and their supervisors and the chiefs of police and all that nonsense, this is how they think of you guys. This is how they think that the people are. They think we're spineless and we're brainless, but in reality, they're the ones that are brainless and spineless. We the people are strong. Stick together, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Check out this clip, and you guys have yourselves a good day. Peace.
People believe they know their rights. I will assure you that no one knows their rights unless they went to law school.